What's up? This is Ashton and Satchel. We are not in the Nerd Cave. We are in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, about to go into the Lucky Rabbit. And it's a really cool store that I've never been in. So I'm excited. It's like a indoor flea market, I guess, right?
Yeah, kind of like antiques.
Antique store, indoor. They have different booths and they've got all sorts of neat things.
Lots of vendors.
Yep. And they got. Go ahead.
And they have an outside area if you have kids. It's really cute.
And they've also got different things set up, like a room from Stranger Things and a big duck hunt display from Nintendo that I saw online. So let's go check it out. Y'all join us. All right, so we're going to do a voiceover on this because there's all sorts of music playing that YouTube is not going to like. But you saw those glasses. Those were from the late 70s and they were only $10. I wish I'd have gotten one, but I did not. That was pretty foolish of me. Here's a bunch of comics. So many independent comics that I'd never heard of. I may have missed something awesome, something expensive. I wouldn't know. This place had everything. Records, comics. Satchel's here with me, by the way. Say hey.
Hi.
What did they have that you liked?
So they had boutique stuff. They had some of the scent booster stuff upstairs where you could get bars of soap or soaps, and we actually ended up buying a deodorizer for our carpet. Like, you can put it on and then vacuum it off, and it's supposed to make the whole room smell nice.
Which you'll see later because in one of the clips you show it off.
Yes. My only complaint about this day, so I actually had to get up early and do makeup. So he drove me. He was my driver. And he had been wanting to go to the Lucky Rabbit for weeks. So we scheduled it on the same day. It was so hot in there. It's South Mississippi in June on this day. It is so hot.
And they don't have an air conditioner. There you see the old McDonald's jail from back in the day. That made me happy to see that. That was way cool. There was a little arcade over there as well. All sorts of vintage goodness. Especially there's a lot of stuff from the 80s. You see the E.T., Back to the Future lunchboxes, which those are new ones. Those are not actually vintage. There's some vintage games.
Every time I couldn't find Ashton for a few minutes, I would be like, oh, I know where he'll be. And I was right every time. He was in something either vintage, or he was in comic books, or something right around the corner that had something he wanted to look at.
Which I guess that's the whole point, is to, find stuff I want to look at. Alright, this is from the second floor in the first building. This place is 2 buildings. This was the first one we went into, I guess. Is this the main one, you think?
Yes, this was the original building. They added on the second one.
But they've got all these cool vintage signs. This room right here was way cool. You see a Thigh Master or something with, what's her name? Suzanne Summers? I guess that was her. All these old TVs, old video games. There is a pinball machine. They had this room set up as a theater, and you probably hear Piper breathing because she's all up in our grills right now as we're doing this. But this room was cool. They were showing a movie. I don't think I keep the camera on there long enough, but it was Harry and the Hendersons. A movie I haven't seen in ages, and that Satchel, who's right there showing off that carpet powder stuff, she's probably never seen Harry and the Hendersons.
I have not, but also I lost Ashton at this point, and I was like, he is going to miss out on this really cool room. And then I was like, I'll go tell him, and found him in that room. So
yeah, that room was pretty awesome. You saw another view of the main floor from the second floor with all the signs. This was a bunch of stickers. Also at this point, like she mentioned earlier, it was really hot. There's no air conditioner in any of these rooms, in either of these buildings. Piper is just going crazy. She's got the zoomies right now, so sorry about that. We like to keep it professional here in the Nerd Cave. But I didn't get it on the video, but while we were up here, there was a girl who was on the verge of passing out.
Yes.
They had cold towels all on her neck and everything, trying to cool her down. And the ambulance was outside when we got out. But right there is a duck hunt display. My first instinct was to shoot that dog, and if you've played duck hunt, you know what I mean. And they had shirts. I thought that was pretty cool. There's squad goals right there with the Golden Girls. There's another spinner rack of comics. Comics were everywhere. There was a room on the first floor that I spent a lot of time. I looked through every single one of them because they had a lot of early issues of Alpha Flight, and I was really hoping to get Alpha Flight 33, which was the first appearance of Lady Deathstrike. But they had issues 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, and 34. Of course, they didn't have the one I was looking for, which this place was quite overpriced, so it probably would have been expensive anyway.
At this point, I think I'm bored and like wanting to go back downstairs.
By the way, that Hulk, anytime I see yellow and red on a Hulk, I immediately look for Hulk 181, which I knew I wouldn't find it there. Not that I could ever afford that comic anyway. I mean, I probably could, but Satchel would kill me for buying it. So this is the outside. We totally forgot to film the outside. There's the first building right there. There's the little part in the middle for cars, and they've got food trucks and snowballs and ice cream. Pop Brothers, and then you go into the second building, and that's what this is here. That was supposed to be a Taylor Swift cabin or something, wasn't it? That's what it said on their Facebook page. Looks like an old school market here. Satchel didn't spend a whole lot of time in this building. She was tired.
Checked out by this point. Usually I'm the one that's like looking around and he's ready to go, but at this store he was like taking a very long time. But I'm glad he had a good time. He had waited forever.
I did.
To go in and look. And I did. I am most of the time a quick shopper, and I go in, scan the room. If I see anything I want to look at, I go to it. So I was done, and I was tired from getting up so early. So
this, I'm going to interrupt you because this part right here is really cool with all those TVs, the CRT TVs showing random Saturday morning things that looked like different commercials. That was a clip from The Tick. Hey, I didn't notice that. That Wonder Woman, that's actually a cup holder. I've got the Superman and the Dark Side from that. If I'd have really noticed that, I would have gotten Wonder Woman that day. Dang.
Daggum.
There's some Star Wars stuff. Porter and Dolly. That rack right there was full of X-Men comics, and it made my heart happy.
Oh, wait. No, I helped you. Look.
She did. She helped me look for X-Men comics. She asked what I was looking for, and she did a pretty good job of keeping an eye out.
Yeah, I kept getting confused, though. My brain was not retaining the information of the ones I was supposed to be looking for. So I would just hold them up and...
I would say yay or nay.
Which most of them were nay, so...
There were some cards there. You saw that Batman card pack with like $4.50 or $5 on the price tag. I thought that was a little much. You can usually get those from conventions for about $3 a pack. Everything was just a little pricey. And man, they had comics just everywhere. Dang, there was a Kingdom Come. I didn't even notice that. It was probably overpriced.
Why do you... Were you even looking?
I was trying to have the camera in the right spot while also looking.
Wow. You put the nerd cave ahead of you, shopping.
I did.
Dang.
There's a bunch of Wolverine issues that I probably should have bought to finish out my Larry Hama run on Wolverine, which I'm really close. I think I'm up to I've got issues 1 through 112, I think, of Wolverine. The original, or I guess that's the second series. The mini-series is volume 1. Ooh, I have that issue. But yeah, comics just everywhere in every corner, thrown in these little trough things and on spinner racks and on shelves. And it's just a lot of 90s comics, which I guess is what you can come to expect from places like this these days.
Okay, so question, do you feel like... Okay, so you keep mentioning that it was overpriced.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's a lack of, like, information? Do you think that they just don't really know?
I think it's...
or just kind of like, do you think the individual doesn't know, like, I probably shouldn't sell it for this much? Or how do you feel like, where do you feel like they're missing the mark?
I feel like it's a tourist trap and it's priced accordingly.
Okay.
That's what I think. This booth was really cool. They had a bunch of old photography equipment and some old movie projectors. These weren't priced. I say they weren't priced bad. I don't know the first thing about photography or movie projection, but I expected lots of high numbers on that, and they weren't too bad, I guess. Really neat looking nonetheless. It was fun to look at.
I was kind of terrified walking by all this stuff. I was scared I was going to break it.
Yeah, you weren't even here. This was the second floor in the second building, and you had checked out by this point. This was a cool booth. The alien caught my eye, and there was all sorts of fun things that I didn't buy.
Oops. Also, he's not the best shopper. He will put it back and second guess it and overthink it.
Oh yeah, I talk myself out of everything all the time.
What, everything? My thoughts are, if you feel like you need it, if you want it, get it. If you're going to use it, okay.
Yeah, that's fair, I guess. So what did you think about the prices? Were they... I mean...
on most of the boutique stuff, I felt like it was pretty fair. I mean, I don't feel like it was too much boutique stuff. Like, it was more on the second floor of the first building. And, I mean, I felt like it was pretty fair. There was a few, like, 50% off, 40% off racks that were, like, last one size kind of thing. I felt like our deodorizer stuff was fair price. It was $10 for a full... What would you call that?
I don't know how
container.
big it was. Smells good though.
It really does. I mean, I'm a fan. There were a lot of options. Pretty sure I gave myself a sinus infection smelling all of them, but whatevs.
Which is why she didn't go to the second floor.
Yeah, I felt like
She
I
was
couldn't
done.
breathe. But it was a fun...
These were cool. These were like...
Oh my gosh,
wooden.
I can't believe you didn't get any of that.
I didn't, but this one right up here was the best, right there, Voltron.
Oh my gosh. We have a running joke about Voltron. Because he keeps saying he's going to put one of those huge ones in his...
In the living room.
In the living room. It's not going in the living room.
Speaking of living rooms, here's one recreation from Stranger Things.
Speaking of, he hasn't even watched Stranger Things.
I have not. I've seen the first 3 episodes.
I've watched it all.
And you're ruining my nerd cred. Thanks.
Well, I'm sorry. But I just want to let y'all know what nerd y'all are following here.
I'm a good nerd, okay? I'm a good nerd.
He is.
Anyway, thanks for walking through here with us.
Sorry we look ratchet.
All right. Well, that was the Lucky Rabbit. Should note that there is no air conditioner. It's 2 buildings. Each one is 2 stories, and there is no AC. And it is 95 degrees in South Mississippi.
So hot.
So we're hot. So if you can't hear us talking because of the air conditioner, oh well, I'll put subtitles up or something. But a lot of cool stuff. Lots of comics, but they were overpriced. Definitely like convention prices even on some of the comics, but I did get something, so we will look at that when we get home. Anything you want to add?
Yes. Also, note to the women who are going along with their significant other to look at comic books and action figures. This Lucky Rabbit had a lot of boutique items,
gift shop items, I would say, and also like candles, deodorizers, lots of like soaps and stuff like that. It was several little boutique setups that kind of kept me entertained while he was shopping for comics.
So, gentlemen, if you are having a hard time convincing your lady to come with you, that ought to do it. And also, she's going to end up buying stuff, so that gives you an excuse to also buy stuff since she did. So, yeah. All right. Catch you later.
Bye.
All right. So that was the Lucky Rabbit. To sum it up, it's a cool place to go to, I guess, just to look around. The prices were a little high, I thought. But I had to buy something just to say I bought something. And what I ended up getting were these 2 issues of Uncanny X-Men, issue 251 and 254. Nothing, you know, too special about these issues. They aren't necessarily keys. 251 does have a very famous cover by Mark Silvestri, and I didn't have it, and I have always loved this cover. The colors are just great. The image of Wolverine is Mark Silvestri. Mark Silvestri is awesome. The colors are great. So I got it. I paid $8 for it. Could have gotten it cheaper on eBay, and probably in better condition, though it's not terrible. It's not too bad. This one was $5. Again, could have gotten it cheaper off eBay or, you know, even a comic book store. It's also not in terrible condition, but like I said, I had to have something from there, so why not add to my Chris Claremont X-Men collection and get a couple of issues of Uncanny that I did not have previously. So, yeah, thanks for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed the look around. A really neat indoor flea market. And as always, like, subscribe, comment, share, and we will see you next time.